The message today is betrayal. You trusted someone and let them in, and they used you every single chance they got. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome. I'm your psychic Gen X tarot reading grandma, and this message today will find you at the exact time that it's meant to help you. The sting of betrayal, it's real, but the cards are not going to let you stay stuck in it today. It's time to find out, what comes next and how, you can reclaim what was taken from you. Let's stop repeating these cycles, If this reading is already hitting home before we even pull a card, hit that like button and subscribe because, this channel goes deeper than surface level. Save this video because you might want to go back to it later. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle my cards. Card 1 is going straight to the wound, hun. I need you to be brave and look at it. This card is revealing the truth about the person who betrayed you and the energy that they were carrying the entire time. It was, what was really going on behind the mask that they showed you. Some of you already felt something was off and, talked yourself out of it. We do that sometimes, it's like, well, maybe it isn't that bad, but card 1's about to confirm everything your gut already knew. Card 1, is the illusion of hidden agendas and things that operate in the shadows. And this card's the Hierophant. This person was never who they really presented themselves to be. This was always a version that they wanted to show you, because that was just, it makes them, easier. They kept themselves fully hidden because they knew if you saw them clearly, you would have walked away a long time ago. For some of you, this person wore a mask, the mask of a loyal friend, a loving partner, or a trustworthy colleague or coworker. And underneath that mask, there was someone who was just using you for their own gain and their own agendas. The Hierophant does not always mean malicious intent. And sometimes it means, this person was so lost in their own unhealed wounds that they couldn't show up honestly, even if they tried. But here is what the cards want you to see and hear. It does not matter what they did or why they did it. The impact on you is real. The betrayal is real, and you are allowed to be done with it, regardless of their reasons. You don't have to stick around and deal with this anymore, hun. Card 2, is why. What's, beneath the why, this is where it starts getting deeper. It's not just about what they did. This card is showing you the experience that it's meant to teach you and what it's revealing about the patterns that led you here in the first place. What you need to look at, honestly, in yourself, this chapter does not repeat, so that this chapter does not repeat itself, It's not about blame. It's about power, hun. This is the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is breaking away from systems and beliefs, conditionings, and so forth that no longer serve you, hun. Here's what the cards are saying. Somewhere along the lines, you were taught that loyalty means staying, that love means tolerating, and that being a good person means giving people chance after chance after chance, even when they've shown you exactly who they are. I know, I've been caught in these kinds of cycles. Conditioning is what led to this betrayal, but for Gen X souls in particular, this goes back farther than just one person. This goes back to learning early that your needs came second, What you needed didn't matter as much as keeping the peace, and, your own truth, just kind of got swept under the rug. The people that you love, they'd eventually show up and, but as long as you showed up for them, if that makes sense. The Queen of Cups is telling you that this belief system is being dismantled right now. This betrayal did not just happen to you. It happened for you. The universe is forcing you to rewrite those rules that you've been living by that were never actually yours to begin with. It's time to change these cycles, hun. So card 3 is the Star. And this is moving forward. The cards have been exposing who, the why, and now they're handling you and your next move. This is not about revenge at all. This is about closure. Closure from someone who does not deserve another chance in this conversation with you. This is about your healing and the life that is waiting on the other side of this betrayal. And there is a good thing happening. You know, this message is, you know, the card's handing you your power back. And that's pretty amazing, hun. You know, the star card here is truth and clarity, a decisive cut after all the confusion, the second guessing, and all the times you wondered if you were overreacting or just being too sensitive. The cards are giving you a full and clear yes. You know, you are not wrong. You did not imagine it, and you were not too much. You simply just trusted the wrong person or somebody, you know, who is not built to hold what you gave them. The star card is telling you that it is time to make a decision and mean it. No more back and forth, no more wishy-washy, no more leaving the door open or cracked for someone who has already shown you that they will walk right through it and burn the place down. Cut it clean, cut it with intention, and do not apologize for choosing yourself, hun. So, you know, for some of you, this card is also signaling that, you know, a conversation is coming. One where you finally are saying the thing that you have been, you know, kind of swallowing in for months. Speak it. Speak it clearly. Speak it without emotion. And, you know, without the need for them to validate what you already know is true. You know, to wrap this up, I'm going to go ahead and pull an oracle card. And this message, you know, is from what the universe is, you know, kind of waiting for you to hear and why you clicked on this video. You know, let's let everything else fall away and just receive this. You know, this is a guided message, you know, and this is the final message as to why you're here. I need you to breathe for a second. The universe is not asking you to give up on, you know, their timeline or to pretend that it did not happen or to shrink. Don't shrink anymore, hun. You know, this is not what this is saying. You know, it's time to release what doesn't serve you anymore. You know, release means, you know, no longer being willing to let them live rent-free in your head. Let them sit in your nervous system. Let them take up your future. You are being called to put it down, not for them, but for the version of you that is waiting on the other side of this. That version has been standing there, you know, patiently, very patiently waiting while you processed and grieved. And this is finally, you know, enough. It's time to just say enough is enough. The door to that chapter is closing, and let it. Sacred vision. You are blessed with divine vision, and your intuition leads the way. So remember, you know, being played does not make you naive. It makes you human. But what matters now is what you choose to do with the truth, and the cards just laid it all out. You know, you're blessed with good intuition, hun, and you can feel what you need to do. You know, so move forward, and, you know, until the next time, stay grounded, stay aware, and I will see you in the next reading. You know, go ahead and please keep the door open for more content. Buy the Cat Council a treat. And, you know, thank you very much for being here. You have a good day. Bye. I hope this message resonates and validates what you've been feeling.